What's going on, everybody? I am going to be breaking down how I have a high yield or ultra high yield savings account that I use to protect my money, to grow my money, to save for retirement. I use it for investing because it has liquidity. I use it so that the money that I make, I get to keep and use, and nobody knows about it. So today I'm going to break down how I use that money, how I invest in real estate, and how you guys can apply it into your own life. Because ultimately, I guess the question is, what's in it for you? So I'm going to show you guys what it's all about. All right. So if it's your first time, welcome to the Hoan Zone, where we help you multiply the assets you own. I'm Hoan, and today we are going to break down this ultra high yield savings account and also how I invest in real estate. So first, let's go into how I invest in real estate. And if you guys need to contact me, hoan@hoanzone.com, right there. So let's talk about it. All right, let's go with a property. So let's say here's a property. It's beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful property. And what I do is I will use money from wherever, whatever source, right? So I will take money and I will buy the property. And then I'll take more money, right? More money, and I'll fix up the property. So here I buy the property, and then here I fix up the property. When I am all done, I rent the property out. Okay, I rent the property out, and once it's rented out, then I go to the bank. I don't go to the bank at first. I go to a bank or some other institution. There are other lending institutions out there in the world, right? And then I go to the bank, and then what happens is the bank cuts me a check back, and it pays off the money that I use to buy and fix the properties. Okay, so I use the money to buy and fix, I use the bank money through a refinance. I use the bank's money to refinance to pay off the money that I use to buy and fix the property. So then, how I go about doing it again is that now, since my money here is replenished, my buying and fixing money is replenished, I can go do this again and again and again, and then I just refinance all of my money back out. So let me draw it a different way. So you guys can see it. As an example, let's say the money that I use to buy and fix the property was 100K. So I have access to 100K, and the money goes into the property. Then, like I said, I rent it out, and then after I rent it out, I go to the bank. This is a bank, and the bank gives me back the 100K, and now I have a loan with the bank for 100K. But that means that I got new money. That bank money, this here, that's brand new money. So I had the original money, and then I got new money to replace this money. So this money is back into my possession, and then I have this money now. So I now have access to 200,000. This 100,000 and this 100,000. They gave it back. So now I can go and do it again. So I can buy house 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? And I can just keep doing this cycle over and over and over. So what I'm going to do today is address, where do you get this money from? Where do you get this money from? And I'm going to show you guys how I use this high yield savings account, right? If you guys didn't see my beginning, hold on, let me switch over, right? So wrong side. High yield savings account. So how I use a high yield savings account in order to come up with that money. So again, we're going to talk about how I get this money right here. So what I do, there's a lot of different sources of money. Let me start there because a lot of people don't understand what I mean by that. So over here, you see how I went to the bank last? Most people, if they're not yet real estate investors or they don't invest the way I invest, they think you go to the bank first, right? They think you go to the bank first. And that to me is backwards because you don't get your money back. So if you were trying to buy this house and let's say it was $100,000, the bank wouldn't lend you 100. They would only lend you 75. They're lending me 100 in this case because the house might be worth, let's say, 150 or something like that, right? The house is worth 150. They're like, okay, based on the house being worth 150, we'll give you 100. When you buy a house, even though it's worth 150, if the purchase price is 100 and you go to the bank first, the bank is only going to give you 75. They don't care what the value is. They care that they're giving you a percentage of the purchase and that you have equity in the deal. So you have to bring $25,000 to the table. Why that's a problem is because you run out of money. If you're putting 25,000 on this property, 25,000 on that property, and you just keep going, eventually you will run out of money. Maybe you can do 5 properties, right? $25,000 down for 5 properties, that's 125,000. You might have that, right? You might have that amount of money, but at some point you will run out. And if the property isn't 100, and let's say it's 200, well then that's $50,000 per property. So you see how quickly you run out of money. So I go to the bank last. I figure out where this 100K can come from other sources that are not the bank. Okay, so I just want to lay that all out because some of you guys are more advanced and you guys understand this, and other of you guys are brand new. So I don't want to leave you guys behind. So I want everybody on the same page, and then we can all move forward together. All right. So how do I get this 100 grand? How do I get this 100 grand? Well, there's a couple of sources. So some of my favorites are I use a line of credit or credit card. Very, very common practice of mine to use a line of credit or credit card that I get, and they allow me to use that money for whatever it is that I need it for. So actually, I'm buying a property later today, and I got the money from a line of credit in combination with the savings account that I'm about to tell you guys about, right? So line of credit, credit card. The other thing is private money lender. Private money lender is just somebody you know, whether it's your uncle, your aunt, your mom, your dad, your coworkers, your friends from high school, your friends from college, the people you meet on social media, whoever. There are people with money looking to get into investing, and they don't have the deal. They don't have the time, but you do. That's where you come in. You're like, I have the deal. I have the time. I have the expertise. You give me the money. And they're like, okay, fine. We'll give you the money. So that's a private money lender. They provide the money. You provide the sweat equity, and voila, you got a deal. Then you got hard money lender. Hard money lender is kind of like a private money lender, where the private money lender was like, oh, this really works. Let me do this professionally. So then they create a company where they lend the money like professionally. They have paperwork already set up. They have terms and fees and this and that and all that kind of stuff. So a hard money lender is a private money lender that has gone pro. Okay, private money lender, that's just your uncle, aunt, whoever, and they don't necessarily have all the paperwork set up. They don't necessarily know what they're doing. They just have money. So voila, right? And then finally, well, not finally, there's many more sources of funding, but the one I'm going to be talking about is the high yield one, right? The high yield savings account. So what I do with my high yield savings account is, let's put it this way. So I'm doing this from the fly. I did not prepare for this. I am just speaking from knowledge and experience. So hopefully it flows. I have no idea how this is going to go. All right. So right now, here is my regular checking account. Checking account, right? So here is my regular checking account. This is where most of you guys keep your money and all that good stuff, right? So what I like to do is I like to move some of this money into my special. And I'll put a little star here. I'll make the star thinner. There you go, right? I put some money into my special high yield savings account. Oops. My spelling is terrible. Savings. Okay, I'll call it my special savings account. So I put some money in there, and now what happens is, instead of having all of my money in my regular checking account, which most people have, I have money in two places. In my checking account, it grows at 0.001% interest, right? In my special high yield savings account, the money that's in there, the cash that's in there, grows at 5.75%, right? That's really cool. It grows at 5.75%. And so I move some of my money over there. And then the really cool part about it is, and I hope nobody ever has to experience this, including myself, but if anything were to happen, like let's say I were to be sued, right? If I were to be sued, the lawyer might try to go after this money right here. The lawyer might try to go after that money. Or if I go into, let's see, what else? Like bankruptcy, right? BK, bankruptcy. Let's see, what else? If creditors try to go after me, all that kind of stuff, right? They're going to try to go after me. The thing is, they're only going to be able to go after that money So the money that's in here is safe, right? So in my special account over there, that is safe money and it's growing at high yields. And what's really cool is it's growing at the 5.75%, which means that if I were to take the money out, I would have to pay interest on I would have to pay taxes on the interest that I've gained. What I get to do instead, right? What I get to do instead is if I need the money, what I'm going to do is borrow against the money as equity, or as it is the equity, it is the collateral, the money in the account is in there. What I'm going to do instead, and this is the part that people, they can't wrap their heads around this one. So I hope that I do a good job at explaining this to you, and I hope that you have an open mind and can understand this part, because this is where everybody gets lost. Okay, so let's say I have 100,000 in here. Okay, I have $100,000 in there, and it grows at 5.75% interest. So let's say that that's $5,750, let's say, right? What's really cool is what I'm going to do, instead of pulling the money out and reducing how much is growing. So if say I pulled out $50,000, right? Now I only have $50,000 growing at 5.75, meaning that my growth would only be, let me do the calculator, 5750 divided by 2, right? I would only be achieving 2,875. So, meh. Okay, so now, instead of doing that, what I'm going to do is, if I need $50,000, I'm going to borrow it. I'm going to get a loan, a separate loan, right? I'm going to get a loan for $50,000 against the money that's in here. I'm going to get a loan for $50,000, and that is how I access my money. Because I got a loan, and again, this is the part that gets tricky. I got a loan for $50,000. Because I got a loan, I didn't pull the money out. And because I didn't pull the money out, I still have the whole $100,000 growing at the 5.75. Do you guys understand that? Because I did not pull the $50,000. I took a loan out, right? Let's say it looked like this, right? Let's say it looked like this. I just want you guys to visualize it, because this is where people get lost. Say there was a guy named Bob, and I said, hey, Bob, let me borrow $50,000. Bob says, fine. And he goes, how do I protect myself? I said, I have $100,000 in this bank account. I will allow you to collateralize your $50,000 loan against my $100,000 that's in there. He goes, okay, no problem. That sounds good to me. I'm protected. I says, yes, you are. You're protected. Give me that $50,000 loan. So Bob gives me that loan, okay? So Bob gives me that loan, and he says, Hoan, I will charge you 4% interest. I go, fantastic, right? Because at 4% interest, $50,000 times 0.04, right, is $2,000. So I'm going to pay Bob $2,000 in interest. But here's the magic, guys. Here is the magic. My $100,000 is still growing at 5.75. The full amount is still growing at 5.75. So I'm still getting the $5,750 when I'm only paying Bob $2,000, okay? So that is how I access the money. I get a loan, but instead of the money coming from Bob, so you don't need to find this mythical Bob, right? You don't need to find the mythical Bob. The company that I actually have the money with, they're just going to provide the loan. Got it? They are providing the loan. And here's the really, really, really cool part. Here's the really, really cool part. You know how I have to pay $2,000 because it's 4% interest on the loan, because this is a separate thing, right? Because it's a loan. They actually don't need me to make minimum payments. So I don't have to make any payments until I'm ready. I do have to pay back that loan. I do. But they don't require me to make monthly payments. So if we go back to this situation here where I'm buying and fixing the property, I'm using the money to fix up the property until I can get it rented out, right? Until I can get it rented out, but it's not rented yet. And because it's not rented, there's no cash flow yet. And so if I have to make monthly payments, that's going to put a damper on my cash flow, okay? Because I don't want to pay out. So I can borrow the money and pay back when I'm all done, when the bank right here refinances me. Does that make sense, guys? Like, I know this is maybe the first time you're hearing about it, but it's pretty cool. So then this money, again, let's recap real quick. If you were to get sued or go in bankruptcy or creditors were going after you, right? They would go after this checking account here because that special savings account, they don't see it. They can't see that because, and I'll get into it in a bit, but they won't see it. So they can't go after that money. They can only go after the money that's in your checking account. When you're brand new, all you can think about is making more money, making more money, making more money. But what you want to start doing is thinking about, how do I protect the money as well, so that all of the money that I've made over time, I actually get to keep that money? Because if you worked really hard and then somehow, some way, like you get sued or you go into bankruptcy or a creditor goes after you or whatever, it's like, dang, I worked so hard just for somebody else to come get it, right? So that's why, number one, it's important to have it in that special savings account because it's awesome. Number two, the growth, right? Checking account, having the money sitting in there, 0.001% interest versus 5.75, which is awesome, right? And then three, you got the liquidity here. So I can use the money whenever I need. So I can borrow the money, right? And it's tax efficient because I don't have to pay the taxes on the 5.75 growth because this is not distribution. I did not pull the money out. I got the loan. I got a loan instead of pulling the money out, right? So I got a loan that I get to pay back whenever I want. So I have that flexibility, right? I have that flexibility of paying it back whenever I want. So let's see how that looks. So let's say I used a line of credit for 50K. Okay, I used a line of credit for 50K, and then I used my special, I use my special account to also provide me 50K. All right, so I use these two things combined, right, to, I'm gonna draw the house. I use that to buy the house. And then, like I said before, I rent the property out, and then I go to the bank. Right, you guys all remember this. And then they say, okay, we'll give you back 100K. Right, we'll give you back 100K. At that point, next step, right, is I take the money and I pay back my line of credit and the special account. Boom. Okay. Well, I guess I could have drawn it like this, like just pay this back, right? Same thing. I think you guys get it, right? I think you guys get it. But this is how I pay it back. So my account, this loan here, gets paid back when I refinance with the bank here. Once I'm done the project, I refinance with the bank here. I pay back this loan there. And so now this never stopped. This 100,000 never stopped. It's still growing at the 5.75. Now people are like, Hoan, why? Like 5.75, that's not a good investment. That's not a good interest rate. Guys, I didn't call this an investment. I called this a savings account. When, think about that. Like, you got to have your money sitting somewhere, whether a checking account or savings account. While it's sitting there, what is your money doing for you, right? Most people have it in the checking account, and then they're going to tell me that 5.75 is not a good investment. Well, number one, I didn't say it was an investment, and number two, when you're comparing it to the right thing, it's a fantastic thing, because here you get 0.001. Here you only get 5.75, right? You guys see that difference? Here, if they sue you, they can go after you, right? They can go after the money that's in there. Bankruptcy, creditors, they can go after this money. There, they can't go after it. I don't know if you guys can't see that. Like, I have conversations like this, but people are very anchored. I use this word anchored. Once they have an idea in their brain, They can't get past it no matter what new evidence is brought to them. You guys see this in politics. You guys see this in pharmaceuticals. You guys see this during any of the headline things in the media today. If somebody is set on whatever they believe in, whether vaccines work or don't work, whether the president is good or bad, whether this person should be guilty or not guilty, it does not matter what new evidence comes up. It doesn't matter what anybody says, no matter how logical the argument, the person is anchored in their thought, and it's almost as if the decision was already made despite all of the new stuff that they're learning about. It's like talking to a brick wall. So I don't want you guys to put yourself behind a brick wall, because what happens when you do that is you miss out on opportunities like this that exist. Okay, so now let's keep on going. Let's keep on talking about this special savings account, right? So as I said, I put money into it, right? I put money into the special savings account, high yield special savings account, and it grows, right? It grows and grows and grows, and it grows typically at 5.75. That changes from time to time, but historically it's been 5.75. When I am, let's say, I don't know, I'm making it up, 65 years old, it's like, hey, I would like to retire, right? I would like to retire at 65 years old. It's like, okay, so how do we create a tax-efficient retirement? How do we create this tax-efficient retirement? Well, remember when I said that we would take a loan out to buy a real estate property or whatever, right? Well, you can take the loan out, and then remember there was no minimum payments? I would say what you're going to do is take the loan out, right? Let's say at 65 years old you have, I'm just making it up, $1 million, okay? $1 million. And $1 million doesn't go that far anymore, but that's a wholly different conversation, right? But let's say you had $1 million in there. So you're 65 years old. What you're going to do is you're going to take, I don't know, $50,000 out in the form of a loan, right? And then you're going to take that $50,000 every year for the next 20 years or so. Actually, it would be more than 20 years, because remember, the money that's in here still grows at the 5.75. That $1 million or whatever, that's still growing. You're only taking out 50,000, or you're borrowing 50,000. And what you're going to do is you're going to borrow and borrow and borrow and borrow and borrow. And then what's your final step? After 20 years of borrowing, and let's say this $1 million went down to, I don't know, $20,000, whatever, because there's going to be more growth than the million. So there's going to be growth. After 20 years of taking $50,000 out, you're going to have some money left over. What are you going to do right at the end? Right at the end, right? Right at the end, you're going to die. I'm just kidding. I mean, maybe. You might. I mean, let's be real. Like, people die. So you borrowed all this money, right? You borrowed all this money from your special account. You take it for retirement, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, and then you die and don't pay it back. And you know what? They're okay with it. You know why? Because you collateralized the loans. So what do? They're just like, well, we just take the $1 million that's in here. All good. So all is right in the world. All is right in the world, right? So you get to use this money while you're alive as liquidity. And then when you're ready to retire and you're like, Hoan, I'm hanging it up. So, what do I do now? Well, hey man, just take loans out. Here we go. I'm sorry. I forgot one thing. 401k. Most people have a 401k. And then let's say they had $1 million in there. And then here is my special savings. And you have $1 million in here, right? So what you're going to do is when you pull 50K out, right? When you pull 50K out, guess what? You got to pay taxes. So then you're only going to have 35K. Here, you're going to take a loan for 50K. Right? This is a loan for 50K. Guess what happens? You have 50K because you don't get taxed on loans. How about that? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Come on, guys. Come on. Do you guys see the power in this? I know you guys see the power in this. You got to see it. The math is there, right? Trust the science. Trust the science. I like using media clips for stuff like this. But yeah, like, guys, do you realize this is going to happen? for those who have a 9 to 5 job, you guys have 401k, you're doing the responsible thing, you're putting a whole bunch of money away, you're going to have to pay some taxes. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know when you take your 50k out what's going to happen, but that could happen. That could happen. So, just be mindful. So that's the power, guys. Taking the loan out. 50k is 50k. And you don't have to pay it back. Remember, no minimum payments. No minimum payments needed because they got your savings collateralized. If you don't pay, they don't care. They just take the money out of the thing. They're good. You're good. Everybody's happy. Everybody's happy. Lovely, 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 lovely. So now, how does this actually work? How does this work? What is this secret thing, and how come nobody has ever told you about it? Well, because a lot of people don't know about it. And I became a provider of these accounts because I thought it was so amazing, right? Look, I'm a busy dude. I invest in real estate. I do real estate education. I do real estate loans. I provide hard money. I provide refinances. I do SBA loans. I have a whole portfolio. I'm doing multifamilies in North Carolina, in Kentucky. Like, I got a lot of stuff going on. So why the heck would I get involved with providing these special high yield savings account, right? Special savings, right? Why would I do this? Why would I get involved? Because I believe in my heart that this is something that people should know about. And there's not many people talking about it. So I provide it. And now, I love the technical details. I love like the nitty gritty, how things work. I have an engineering degree as a background, right? And then I have my master's degree in financial engineering. So in terms of tinkering, in terms of like numbers, in terms of how things work, I find this thing fascinating. It grows. I can borrow against it. It has liquidity. It has tax benefits. I can use it for retirement. I can buy real estate with it. It's protected against creditors. Like, what? How come I didn't know about this? Well, it's only because, number one, I put myself behind a brick wall anytime someone tried to tell me about it until there was somebody I really, 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 really respected in the industry who told me he was doing it, and he showed me how it worked. And so at that point, I was able to put my brick wall down, and I saw it for what it was. And I was just like, that is amazing. That is amazing, right? So how do I do it? How do I do it, right? So what happens in this special savings account is I leverage life insurance companies, right? I leverage life insurance companies, and I create these policies for people because I want you guys to have these policies, not because I make a ton of money from selling these policies. Actually, I make less money, like 2/3 less, like 75% less than if I were to sell regular policies, right? So I use a special high cash value life insurance policy to create these savings accounts, okay? So what happens is what I'll do is I'll create for you a policy, okay? Let's put it this way. Policy, right? What's going to happen is money is going to go into the policy. Okay, you're going to put money into the policy. In the policy, if a way to look at it, right, is that it's going to go into two different pots. It's going to go into two different pots. Okay, some money's going to go there, some money's going to go into there. Pot number one, pot number two. Pot number one is the cash value that I've been telling you about. Okay, it's the savings account that I've been telling you about. So pot number one, money's going to go into cash value. Pot number two, you're going to get death benefit. Okay, because it is life insurance, you will get death benefit, which is awesome. Benefit. Sorry, I'm talking and trying to write at the same time, and I can't spell while doing that, right? So your money is going to go into two different pots. Let me do this. Resize. Bing, bang, boom. Right? And I'm going to show you one other beneficial thing. Right? I'm going to show you one other beneficial thing right after I put on the screen this. Hoan is right. I have multiple accounts for myself and my family. Use this strategy. Took a loan on the account, tax-free and uninterrupted interest. I got to use that word. Thank you, Vin. Uninterrupted interest. Keep it up, Hoan. Educate. Absolutely. Thank you, Vin. Absolutely. So I'm going to show you one other benefit that I didn't go over in the previous parts, right? So we got the cash value here, and that's the death benefit. So the cash value, is the special savings, right? This is one and the same, right? So I'm going to do this. I'm going to move this just so that you're not confused. Oops. I'm going to do this. It's just so that you're not confused. Not that you confuse easily, just so that we're all clear and we use the same thing. Okay, do you guys see that? All right, and now I'm going to use this checking account. So now let's go back. Let's go back real quick. I want you guys to see something. Here is the checking account. Like I said before, you're going to take some of the money from the checking account that grows at 0.0001 and you're going to move it over to the special savings account, right? Special savings account. So that's what I'm asking right here to do is you take your checking account money and you're going to move it into your special savings account. How? By paying for a policy. When you pay for your policy, money gets moved into your special savings account, right? Technically, we call this cash value. But here I'm calling it a special savings account. And then you have death benefit. So the cash value, the special savings account, it works the way I just described over here, right? Everything that what I told you about over here is how it works, okay? Everything I told you is how it works here. The death benefit, as you guys understand it, is what it sounds like. If you pass away from now until whenever, and this is what's cool, because this is going to be for your entire life, okay? This is for the duration of your entire life. Like if you died at, it makes no difference if you died at 65, 88, 104, right? Your entire life, there is going to be a death benefit. What most people like to say to try to sound sophisticated is, oh, I like to buy term insurance and I invest the rest, right? I like to buy term and then I invest the rest. Did you guys know that term insurance, that only about 1% of those with term insurance actually get paid out? Meaning that 99% of the people who buy term insurance, they're putting money into the term insurance and it's never going to get paid out. So you're pretty much just throwing your money away as a, like, just in case you die within this time frame of 10 years or 20 years or 30 years or whatever, right? It is not for your entire life. It is for a term, right? A term. That's why they call it term. So it's like a 10-year, 20-year, 30-year, right? So if you don't die within that time frame, you've lost money. So you almost want to die so that you didn't waste money. Here, you don't have to worry about that. This death benefit is for your entire life, for however long you live. So 65 years old, 85 or 88 years old, 104 years old, does not matter. You will get paid out at some point whenever you decide to die. So when you decide, the death benefit will pay out. What's cool about that, right? What I like, right, is that with your death benefit, and this is like, what's it called? The death benefit is a way to create generational wealth. Another way to create generational wealth, and this is me taking your financial literacy up to another level, right? Death benefit to another level. So death benefit here. I want the death benefit to go into your trust when you pass away. Instead of it going directly to your kids or to your spouse or whatever, I want your death benefit money when you pass away to go into your trust. When the money is in your trust, there is a trustee that's there and like, hey, when Hoan passed away, he wanted the money to go into the trust and I'm the trustee and my job as the trustee is to guard this money from you. Kids, other family members, whatever. Now, it's not that you don't want to give them the money. It's not that you don't want to give them the money, but you want to give it to them responsibly. So I've actually heard of some trustees where the rules said that do not give any money to my kids until they are 65 years old. Meaning like, let's give them the money at 65 so that they have to earn their money and experience life and the hardships of life, and so that they can be molded into a strong person with good character. Let's have life kind of mold them the right way, and then once they hit 65, all right, you can take your foot off the gas pedal, right? You can take your foot off the gas pedal, and then we'll give you money out of the trust. Another cool way is, and this is how the Rockefellers did it, They put the money in the trust. If you needed money, you could go to the trustee and say, hey, I need some money. The trustee will ask why. And then what you're going to, they're either going to say, hey, I want to buy a car with it. And the trustee is going to say, no, I want to go on vacation. No. Hey, I want to do this, that. No. I want to start a business. Okay, we're talking now. Okay, please submit your business plan. They submit a business plan. The business plan says we need to borrow $1 million, $500,000, $200,000, whatever, right? The trustee looks at it, reads over the business plan, goes, okay, this looks good. We will lend you the money from the trust. If your business is successful, fantastic, pay us back. If your business is not successful and you don't pay us back, you cannot get any more money from us. And in addition to that, we're going to take out a life insurance policy, right? We're going to take a life insurance policy for your entire life, have a death benefit. So at some point you will pass away. And when you pass away, your death benefit will now go back into paying the trust to make the trust full again, right? So that's the really cool part. Your trust is made full and whole again, even though the son or daughter, whoever borrowed it for their business plan or their business, they passed away and they didn't pay back the loan, the trust is made whole again. So then this means that your trust and the money that's in the trust will go for generations after generations after generations because it will never go down. That's the beautiful thing about it. Like so for some of you guys, this is the first time you're ever hearing about this, right? I am taking your financial literacy up another level or 5 or 10 levels because this is this is a powerful way to run your business, to run your family, to run your life, right? This money is not everything, but it is up there with oxygen, right? That's not a quote from me. That was somebody else who said that. And it's true because, yeah, you don't necessarily need to buy Lamborghinis and Ferraris, but you do need money to pay for your rent and your mortgages and your car note for your regular car, right? Your Toyota Camry or whatever it is, right? You need to pay money for food and you got to pay for utilities. And so you need money. So you got to know how to work money better. You got to know how to be more efficient with money. And this here, what I showed you guys earlier in this video, this strategy here, this is to take you guys to that next level in terms of understanding how money works and how you can be more effective and efficient and safer with your money so that the money that you have, that you've accumulated over time, actually stays with you, right? It stays with you. Creditors don't take it from you. Bankruptcy doesn't take it from you. People who sue you don't take it from you, right? You got to protect your money in addition to grow your money. So you got to learn all these things. If you just have a regular 9 to 5, that's okay. But I will say that there is more to finances than just working for money and trading your time for money because number one, you're going to be paying the most taxes out of everybody as a 9 to 5 employee. That's number one. Number two, your 401k will be taxed once you pull the money out, right? There's more taxes, right? And then number three, you run out of time. So I don't want to put 9 to 5ers down. I just want you guys to start thinking in terms of like a bigger approach to your money, that there are better, more efficient ways to do it, and that maybe you should incorporate a couple of things. Like you can do the strategy that I just talked about while having a 9 to 5 job. You can start putting money away into this account just to protect it, to grow it, to have that death benefit just in case, and then to have that family trust so that you don't have to go through probate. There's a lot of things that people don't know about that it's never taught in school. Your family can't teach it to you because your family doesn't know it. So here I am at the Hoan Zone where we help you multiply the assets you own and become more financially literate so that you can have a better life. Finances or whatever, money can't buy you happiness, but money buys you everything else, right? And the lack of having the ability to pay for a dental visit, to pay for a broken down car, to pay for a leaky roof, the inability to do that brings sadness, brings frustration, brings depression, brings anxiety, brings a lot of things. Yeah, money doesn't buy happiness, but the lack of money creates all of these other negative feelings we don't want. So let's not be naive and let's not say that, oh, I don't need money. Hoan, why are you always talking about money? Let's not be naive. Let's look at it just from a logical standpoint. No emotions in it, just logical. How can you play this game of money in a better way? So thank you guys for watching this. And If you guys are interested, email me right here, hoan@hoanzone.com. If you guys want to learn more, if you guys want to start a policy, whatever it is, let me know. Again, hoan@hoanzone.com. I'd love to talk to you about it. I'd love to show you how it works. I would love to help you guys become a real estate investor. I would love to help you guys multiply the assets you own, right? And this account, this special high yield savings account, this is going to be one of your assets. And it's going to be one of your assets that you hold for the rest of your life. So, again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. I'm Hoan. Let's multiply. See you later, guys.